The rhododendrons are coming out, so it's time for the hot tub curmudgeon to do the same. You know, I've got a couple different friends that have laid up arsenals of all kinds of weapons. And it occurs to me that in the event of the great collapse, where these arsenals are going to give these guys an advantage over the rest of us, after the collapse, the survivors with these guns will be the very people who will perpetuate what caused the collapse. I propose that what's going to cause the collapse is Homo sapiens has evolved to be a tool maker. What immediately follows after being a tool maker is the modification of the environment to suit the predictability and safety and prosperity of Homo sapiens. So, for example, we develop an axe. And with the axe, then, we go out and we chop the bark off of a tree all the way around, which causes the tree to die, so that next year, after the trees around there have dried out, we can set fire. And then we have cleared the land by setting fire to the trees, and then we can plant. So we've become agriculturalists, and that's called slash and burn agriculture. Very common among primitive people. And just an extremely simple example of what happens when Homo sapiens develop a tool. Now, up in Neah Bay, Washington, the most northwestern point of contiguous United States, the natives up there want to hunt whales. And everybody's saying, oh, you know, we got to take care of the whales. We can't be out there killing whales. Well, you know, let them hunt the whales like they did 200 years ago. The canoes can't be dug out with any sort of metal tool. They have to use fire and rocks the way their ancestors did. But no, they want to go out there with probably aluminum boats with power motors, and then they want to use gunpowder, or, you know, they want to use explosives to shoot harpoons into the whales. Well, none of that is fair, but it's a great example of how Homo sapiens will use their tools. And, you know, you can go on and on about the nobility of those indigenous peoples, but that's what they want to do. They want the freedom, the power to modify their environment for their safety and comfort. Okay, so after the collapse of civilization, who's going to survive? All those guys with guns. Now, is there any difference whatsoever between those guys with guns and those of us right now who are screwing up the environment for our pleasure and comfort? And anyway, so what's needed is to somehow evolve from Homo sapiens, the tool builder, to, I'm going to call it, Homo conscious. People who try things like ayahuasca. It's this strange mixture down in Peru of the root of one plant and the leaves of another plant, and you put them together, you make a soup out of them, you drink the soup, you throw up, and then you see God. And I've talked to people that it has transformed their lives, transformed their perspective. They feel more unified with everything. Now, me personally, I tried it. I threw up about 3 or 4 times. But all that I got out of it was the patterns in the carpet changed to sort of Aztec designs. I think I have a really thick blood-brain barrier. My wife claims that to be the case, that I have a very thick barrier of anything getting into my brain or mind. Anyway, or people with LSD have this extraordinary unifying experience. Now, if for people who are willing to invest a hell of a lot of time and years and energy and concentration on it, you can get this unifying experience through meditation. But there's very few of us that are doing that. So I think what's needed is a massive dose of LSD throughout the human population to have us experience our connection to each other and to the planet in a way that we need to stop destroying it. Now, I don't think that sociopaths, psychopaths are going to be susceptible to this unifying experience, and it ain't their fault. It's a different structure in their prefrontal cortex. There's an allele called the warrior gene, and for some sociopaths, the we have alpha wave, beta wave, and I think delta wave in brain function. And these folks suffer, I think it's beta wave, which is what you experience with very light sleep. So sociopaths walking around all the time in a beta wave condition similar to what you experience in light sleep. Well, so some of us ain't going to get the Homo conscious evolution, but by God, the rest of us, most of us had better be moving that direction, because the tool makers and the arsenal collectors are going to be the only ones left after the collapse. And that'd be just a damn shame, because they'll just start the whole thing all over again, creating tools and tearing hell out of Gaia. Sure would like to know if you're out there listening.